Can't take your knife on an airplane? Don't worry, because we've got you covered with some EDC gear that can still ensure that you're equipped and prepared when you reach your destination. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter, and I've got some options here today that should comport with TSA guidelines here in the United States anyway, and things that can kind of replicate some of the basic functionality of a simple, basic, everyday carry multi-tool for you. Now, if you're checking a bag, this is much less of an issue because, again, at least here in the States, you are able to check a knife in your checked luggage. But the problem with that is twofold. One, luggage can get lost. You're not in control of that bag as soon as it goes through the checked counter there. Or what if you like to travel carry-on only? That presents a problem as well, but it doesn't mean you have to go without. Now, there are some bladeless multi-tools on the market. In fact, I've got a small one here, but that's not what we're going to focus on today, because even though I'm thrilled to see those options, and we're even going to be seeing more from the likes of Victorinox, the maker of the Swiss Army knife, I'm thrilled to see those things, but you are kind of putting all your eggs in one basket if you go with a bladeless multi-tool, because at the end of the day, the ultimate discretion is up to the TSA officer as you go through the security line. And even if something technically should meet with TSA safe criteria, it could still get confiscated. And if that one multi-tool that you're carrying gets confiscated, you're out of luck. So I would suggest, instead of a multi-tool, you should actually carry multiple tools. And thankfully today, there's plenty of small and compact enough options that you can get away with something like this without feeling like you're carrying a whole toolbox with you. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with stuff that actually cuts. Even though you can't have a pocket knife, or a fixed blade for that matter, through and onto an airplane, it doesn't mean you can't have some things that actually cut. For instance, scissors. If they're small enough and non-threatening looking enough, they're technically meeting with TSA requirements. This one right here is one that I actually just discovered as I was putting this episode together, and I'm already becoming a rapid fan of it. For about 20 bucks, it's the Klaus 18009 4-inch hot forged scissors. What's nice about these is they cut exceptionally well, especially given the small size. And they can snip through paracord or harder materials very easily, which is, you know, that paracord test is something often that small scissors have a hard time doing. The other thing I like about this, in addition to them being very effective, is they're very non-threatening. I would not suggest taking a pair of pointy-nosed scissors through security. Something with a blunt nose like this is much less likely to get a second glance from your security officer. And the nice thing about these too is you can unfold them and you can actually use this edge kind of like an impromptu knife if you want to cut through a little tab holding some snacks open, or even opening up some packages. That can work pretty well. You will have to figure out some way to carry this, however. It's not exactly pocket friendly because this could kind of come open. So if you have some kind of belt pouch or you carry it in your backpack, that's a good option. But if you want something that's a little more pocketable, this is a classic right here. The Slip-N-Snip, made in the USA, except no imitators, original folding scissors. Very easy to slip in a pocket, even that fifth change or watch pocket in a pair of blue jeans. They fold open like so, and you've got a very nice set of scissors. Rounded tips, a little pointier than the Klaus we just looked at for sure, but not stabby at all, and not quite as effective as those Klauses either, it should be said, but effective enough and very easy to carry just about anywhere. It comes in about 15 bucks for the real deal. There are a lot of knockoffs out there, and the quality is really a bit of a roll of the dice. With these, you know what you're getting. Now, I do have one actual multi-tool here, and that is the Victorinox Jetsetter. And you know I said don't put all your eggs in one basket, but I'm showing you this one because it is pretty minimal. And for me, if I were carrying this, it would be part of a bigger system. And I'm talking about scissors here. Victorinox scissors are just phenomenal. Even these tiny ones, like on this Jetsetter, runs about 24 bucks for this knife right here. Knife, not an actual knife. They work exceptionally well. Snips through paracord, great. and you can even open them up to do that little scoring action as mentioned. And on top of that, you do have some multi-tool functionality, limited though it may be. You've got a bottle opener, small Phillips, and toothpick and tweezers built in. This, however, is most likely going to get some extra scrutiny from security because, after all, it looks like a Swiss Army knife. They're used to seeing things like that, so you might that might get a second look going through. Speaking of which, this is actually an object I have taken through security many times, the resqme Quick Escape Car Escape Keychain Tool, I think is the full name of it. Let me give you a fresh one here. Comes with a key ring and a little quick release tab right there. Lives on your keys. You can yank it in the event of an emergency, and then you have this hidden blade right here, or nested blade, whatever you want to call it, which acts as a seatbelt cutter as well as a window punch. And that little seatbelt cutter can be used to open packages quite effectively in a pinch. This is something that I have had get second looks going through security. I've not had it confiscated yet, however. But if you do, if that does happen to get taken, it's about 13 bucks, so it's not a huge loss in any event, but very useful nonetheless. So we're talking about a keychain tool there. How about something to carry your keys with? Carabiners. There's a lot of kind of multi-tool carabiners out there, but I've got two here to look at that actually have removable blades on them. So it creates the opportunity to take the blade out before you get on a flight and procure a blade once you arrive at your destination. And these are gonna offer a little bit of extra functionality as well, so that even if you never get a blade at your destination, these aren't just a carabiner, they still give you a little more. This is the Olight brand Olight Otool 2 multi-tool carabiner, coming in at about $40. It's made out of titanium, comes with installed a small scalpel blade. A little bit less common, might be a little harder to procure than some blade styles once you hit your destination, but the option is there. As for your multi-tool capability, you have a Phillips head driver, 3D Phillips head, right there on the corner. You've got 3 small hex wrench sizes. I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly what size they are, and a 1/4 inch hex bit, technically hex wrench, but it can turn a 1/4 inch hex bit right there. It's not going to hold it captive. You will have to kind of hold it in with your thumb if you go to turn with it, but some extra niceness right there. And a pry/scraper beveled edge tip, whatever you want to call it, here on the outside edge. Next up is the CIVIVI Polymorph carabiner. Comes in more expensive. This is about an $80 piece right here. Also made out of titanium. Comes with nice gate. Comes with that 1/4 inch driver as well, just like the O knife there, or the O tool. Also doesn't hold it captive, so you will have to hold that in yourself. Comes with a bottle opener here on the top side, and comes with this pretty cool spinning multi-bit driver. You've got a T8 and a T6 for the knife heads out there. You always have something to keep your knife adjusted if you're carrying this normally. And some extra bits as well. 2 hexes, a Phillips, and a flathead. Doesn't have a ton of reach, so you're not going to be able to get down deep into something, but it's nice to have. And you've got a standard craft style blade right here. I say standard, but these are actually technically proprietary in that they are 9CR based steel. So 440C levels of edge retention when you're using this day to day, but it is the exact same shape as an X-Acto blade. And that's going to be a little bit easier to find than the scalpel blade of the Olight Otool. Their branding can be a little confusing sometimes, that we just looked at. Nice option, multiple positions for length in terms of how much blade you have exposed. And on both of these, even without a blade, still a useful EDC item. Speaking of replaceable blade items, the standard utility knife blade you can find in just about every hardware store, super cheap, is even easier to find than a craft style blade typically. I will say though, for that, I've got 2 options. I would not go with an option that is a folding knife based design, because the cool thing about both of these, the BIGiDESIGN TPT Slide and the Outdoor Edge SlideWinder, is when they don't have any blade in them, they look nothing like a box cutter, which is, again, less likely to raise an eyebrow going through security. Both of these tools also offer extra capability so that even if you don't manage to procure a blade where you're coming from, you still have utility. Let's start with the TPT Slide. Comes in 80 bucks, made from titanium. And before we get to the multi-tool aspects, it actually comes with these safe carry inserts is what they call them. One side is kind of forked like this. They call it a camping fork, but not a great eating tool. And the other side just looks like a standard utility blade. The nice thing about these is they are not sharp, but I have opened like those annoying blister packs with these by punching through. It can pop tape seams. You can open some packaging with these. Might not be as good as a knife blade, but it can get you through in a pinch. Beyond that, it operates as a bottle opener, which is cool. You've got a pry tool here at the back. You've got a non-captive hex driver insert or cutout as well. And probably the most interesting thing about this is you see these little ridges around the open mouth. If you take that blade out, that can actually function as a quote-unquote universal wrench. It can hold a lot of bolts still inside those jaws and even turn them a bit in a pinch. And that lanyard attached right here is going to give you a little extra leverage, which is nice. Probably not as good as a dedicated wrench for sure, but it's not getting in the way, so that extra bit of utility is appreciated. Even we've got a pocket clip here on the back to put in your pocket where your knife might normally live, and then you won't be constantly checking, going, oh, where's my knife? You folks who know what I'm talking about. That is a fairly expensive item though, at about 80 bucks. And even though it doesn't really look like a utility knife, it would hurt if that got taken away. So as a more budget option, the Outdoor Edge SlideWinder comes in about $13. You don't get the universal wrench going on, but you do have a bottle opener. You've got flathead and Phillips head drivers built in, which is something the TPT does not have. And you could use that flathead as a small pry section. And yeah, it's got a cool look. You got the pocket clip, you've got an extendable blade. It's a little bit awkward to use sometimes, as you can see right there. And it comes with the blade installed, but again, take the blade out before you go through security, please. 13 bucks, a lot of utility right there. On the note of taking the blades out, back to the TPT Slide for a minute, this one actually does belong to me, and it would hurt if it got taken away. So I usually, even though this is technically a non-bladed insert, I'll usually take the insert out and carry it through in a separate pocket in my bag, just to keep any extra suspicion off of that device. So you could kind of pick something from the three categories we've looked at so far right now and call it good, because a lot of the things we've looked at do have some screw driving capability built in. But again, if you want to keep things not in the same basket, you want to separate things out a bit or add some more utility on the screw driving side of things, we can keep going here. What about an EDC pry bar? We did talk about some prying capability on these two utility blade holders right here, but a pry bar could add even more leverage and can sometimes be found with screw driving capability as well, which is why I want to show you another Olight material or Olight device, the Opry 5-in-1 titanium pry bar. Comes in about 45 bucks right now. You've got that pry bar tip, you've got a hex blade cutout, you've got a multi-wrench cutout as well, you've got a bottle opener here, and as you can very clearly see, two double-ended micro bits here, or precision bits at 4mm hex size, that are held in place by this little detent balled gate. So you've got 4 drivers right there. You can use them either with extra leverage on these cutouts here, or can be held captive in the end for an inline driver. It's not the most comfortable in the world because you are kind of pushing up against the pry bar tip, but if you learn how to hold it kind of palming this side flat, you can exert a pretty good amount of leverage on that, and it'll accept a bunch of other standard standard hex bits as well. So you could expand this as much as your heart desires, essentially. Now, if you're not concerned about having a pry bar, but you want to have that precision bit capability, Olight also makes another implement you might be interested in. This is the Otacle or Otacle D2 compact EDC multi-bit driver, coming in about $40 for an aluminum version. Titanium can also be had for a bit more money, about 80 bucks, double the price in fact. This thing's pretty cool. You can see on the back we've got this locking switch because you've got a magnetically captive sliding lid on the front that hides 4 double-ended precision bits. So you've got 8 different bit sizes in that amount of space, which is pretty nice. The bits themselves are held captive with magnets, both in the tray position as well as in the tip. Now, even though this flat shape does allow a fair bit of torque to be applied to these small bits, if you need even more, pop it out, and you've got the side bit right there giving you extra torque. And a pocket clip. So another nice thing to stick where your pocket knife should be as you're going about your business. There's certainly plenty of options that take standard 1/4" bits if you want something a little more robust. This one right here is really nice. This is from CRKT. It's the Joe Woo Pocket Driver Stash Tool. Comes in about $24. And it's a little bit finicky or requires a fair bit of force to pull this keychain end off. Actually, that worked pretty well that time. But you've got a standard 1/4" hex driver there on that end. And it comes with 3 nice high quality bits there. Oh, sorry, never mind. 4 high quality bits right in the back. Pop the one of your choosing in the front end, and you've got a nice robust aluminum body with plenty of texture here near the tip for the leverage you need when going to town. Doesn't take up a lot of space, could be a nice keychain item. Throw that on the carabiner next to the ResQme, and it's another thing, doesn't take up a lot of space, but gives you a lot of capability. You'll notice I haven't really talked too much about what bits by size are included with any of these, because the advantage is they're all standard bits, so you can kind of customize it to however you like. And that's where these next 2 devices really shine. If these drivers so far just feel kind of like toys to you, and you want, like, there's nothing wrong with them, but you want like a real serious tool, here's what you got. And it's still compact. The Victorinox Bit Wrench comes with its own bit carrier with 6 included bits, space for 10. Again, it's a standard 1/4" bit set, however, so you can put whatever bits you need right in here. Comes in about 20 bucks right now too. It's a really nice L-shaped driver. It's robust, it's not ratcheting, so no kind of gimmicks, no fuss, no muss, or no muss, no fuss. It's just a dead simple, reliable, durable tool. You can stick the bit in the long side or the short end if you need more leverage. Can spin around rather quickly, just like some screwdrivers, and still, despite being a truly serious and very hard-working feeling tool, quite compact, whether carried in a belt pouch or in your pack or even in your pocket. You could get a lot of real serious work done with something like this. If you like that kind of form factor, but you do want ratcheting, there's another option here too. Also from Victorinox, the ratcheting bit wrench. A fair bit more expensive though. This comes in almost 3 times the price as the non-ratcheting version at $58. It actually comes with the same bit rail as the L-shaped version, but you have, in addition to standard screwdriving mode, you've got a ratcheting end here at the top side. And the way that works, you insert your bit, and if it's not going the direction you want, you just pop it in the other side. And now it is reversed. It's nice from a simplicity factor right there. May not be quite as convenient, but it is one less thing to kind of go wrong when you're out and about. And last but not least, on the screwdriver front, I know I had a lot of options here, is another item from BIGiDESIGN, same maker as that TPT Slide. It is the Bit Bar Inline. Titanium screwdriver, fairly pricey, comes in about 100 bucks, and you don't have the capability to carry as many onboard bits as something like these Victorinox units, but it is more compact, as you can see, and comes with 3 bits. This slides out. You can utilize it in standard inline driving mode right there, or if you need more leverage, you can T-handle it, or if you need even more leverage, you can get that L-style driver right here and go to town. It's built very well, feels very satisfying to use, and as you can see, has space for 2 more onboard bits in addition to the one that's installed right on the tip. If you want more, you will have to supply your own kind of bit storage or bit transportation alongside it. So again, you're losing the compact nature of the Victorinox stuff, but you do have a very nice driver right there. That kind of covers what at least I consider the bare minimum functionality for a multi-tool just spread across multiple tools that should, again, should get you through TSA security without any problems. Should. But I'm going to talk about two other product categories here for folks who, when they carry their knife, if you're thinking about self-defense applications, you can't carry your knife through security, what can you look to instead? Well, there's two things, a tactical pen and a tactical flashlight. Let's start with pens. There are a ton of great tactical pens on the market. In fact, we'll link to our whole section down below. But I wanted, kind of like the other categories we've talked about so far, I wanted to have some features on this pen that would get you an advantage in travel specifically. And for a pen, there's two things that I like to look for. One is a pressurized cartridge like the Fisher Space Pen, because even though it may not be the fanciest or nicest writing experience, they are utterly reliable. They can write upside down, they can write on all kinds of different surfaces, and you don't want to be fighting with your equipment when you're away from home and what you've got is what you got and you need it to work. A pressurized cartridge is fantastic in those situations. The other thing I like is a stylus that'll work with touchscreens, modern touchscreens. One, it can be nice on your own device, but also it's one more way to interact with the world around you without actually putting your fingers on something that thousands of other fingers have just touched. Signing a signature on a credit card machine or interacting with a touchscreen at the airport or anything like that. Now, when it comes to tactical pens with a touchscreen stylus, the options are few and far between. But that makes it easier to narrow things down for this video, hey, doesn't it? So here's one. It's about $30, which in the world of fancy pens is not that bad. And it comes from Smith & Wesson. This is the Smith & Wesson, the tactical pen and stylus with an aluminum body. Comes in about 30 bucks. You've got your touchscreen stylus, the rubberized style here at the tip end, and on the back side, you've got a conical tip. It's not super pointy, so hopefully that doesn't raise any extra red flags. It doesn't come with a dedicated glass breaker, but hey, with me, I'm gonna have my resqme anyway. But you do get the capability that all tactical pens enjoy in that it can concentrate the force of your strike into one very small place and kind of magnify the power you have. Now, to access the actual pen portion of this, which you'll probably be using more often than any other function, you unscrew the cap right there. It can be screwed onto the back if you don't want to lose it, which can be a very good thing in travel situation. Not as convenient as a bolt action or a clicky top for sure, but it is very reliable. And you also actually don't get a pressurized cartridge right out of the box with this, but it's a standard Parker style refill. So your standard Fisher Space Pen cartridge will fit in there, no problem. And that's a few extra bucks on top of the price right there. Now, if you don't really care about the tactical side of the pen, you just want a reliable writing implement, the same two rules as far as I'm concerned still apply. Pressurized cartridge and a stylus are nice things to have. The Fisher X750 is a great one. Comes in about 45, 46 bucks. Pops open, you can cap it on the end, so you have a full-sized pen, even though it is extremely compact when you go to stow it in your pocket, and you've got the stylus there on the top. You can also get versions of the Fisher Bullet, the classic Bullet with a stylus as well, but you'll have to buy a pocket clip for those. They don't come with a pocket clips in. But people forget about the Bullet. They shouldn't. It's a great pen. Last but not least, flashlights. There's a ton of great tactical flashlights on the market too. So how do we get it down to something that's going to be ideal for travel? For me, that's something that's compact enough that it's not going to take up a bunch of space or weight, and it's easy to feed. By that, I mean, I don't like something that's going to have a proprietary battery that's going to be hard to find if you run out of juice. Even if we're dealing with a rechargeable light, I want the ability to be able to just pick up a battery off the shelf and power it. Let's start with this, the Streamlight ProTac 1L 1AA. Very catchy name, don't you think? Not the latest and greatest in terms of technology and brightness, but this is a dual fuel flashlight. It will use a CR123, and with that you can get 350 lumens, or you can pick up a AA, either rechargeable or just your standard alkaline off the shelf, and power this light. When you're out and about, if you're away from a charger and you need to power your light, you've got an option in something like this. The other things it does well, it is a true tactical light. It always comes on high, and you've even got the strike bezel there on the front. So you can use it to hopefully distract or temporarily impede the vision of your attacker and get away. And if you really need to come to blows, you've got something there. More importantly, for actual daily use, you've got a two-way pocket clip, which means you can throw this on the brim of a hat to use it as a headlamp for hands-free illumination. Another option, less expensive from Olight, is the i5R. Not quite as tactical. You don't have the strike bezel there, but it is long enough to have something protruding, and it does always come on high, if I'm remembering correctly as well. This is about 36 bucks, 350 max lumens, and that comes from a 14500 battery, which is the size of a AA and is rechargeable with a USB-C cable right there. So it's easy to recharge, but if you are out and about and you can't get to your charger or your cable, a standard AA will power this light as well. It's also got that type of pocket clip that'll allow you to clip it to your hat brim. Comes in a wide variety of colors as well, so you can pick your favorite flavor. Last but not least, we've got a brighter light. If the 350 lumen count of these other two lights don't light you up, we've got the Fenix LD12R. It's a 600 lumen max light, comes in about 60 bucks. You've got tactical switch. You've got the easiest recharging of these two. You simply screw out the top end and you can insert your USB-C right there. That will charge the 14500 that is inside of here, but it will also again run on a standard AA battery, which is super nice. You've got a little more length here, no striking bezel, but you've got more length to get it away from your digits if you need to use it in an emergency like that. You don't get the two-way pocket clip that allows you to use this on a hat brim. However, it does have a multi-brightness side light right here. So last I checked, you're gonna have to have some kind of shirt or torso covering to get on an airplane, so you'll always be able to clip this to a collar or something like that on your article of clothing for your hands-free illumination. All right, thanks for sticking around. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope it gives you some ideas of what you might like to carry on an airplane, whether you need it in the airport or you need it at your destination. I think these are some good options to keep you prepared and keep you being able to do what you need to do and enjoy life the way you like to enjoy it. But let me know what you think. Where would you deviate from these items right here? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to get your hands on any of these items, check out the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. While you're there, don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program, which means even when you buy one of these things that isn't a knife, we'll give you some free money to spend on your next knife or not knife. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center signing off. Happy flying, everyone. See you next time.